Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Okay, let's talk about this idea of soulmates. You know, we hear about this soulmate thing and have this idea, at least I did, that it's this magical, mysterious soulmate thing, person, persona, who's going to magically appear into your life. This is later on in life that we start to think about this soulmate thing or make these declarations. I want to find my soulmate. And you know what I connected with today? It's like Disney princesses waiting for their white knight, the white knight in shining armor, whatever, on the white horse, whatever it is. They're waiting for somebody to come rescue you, And this older, more spiritual version of the Disney princess thing is this idea of a soulmate. I've come to that conclusion. I've come to that conclusion because I have found in my own life that the more I depend on myself, the more I look to myself and my own strength, and I'm not talking about, pushing God out of the equation or not having my certain someone, my significant other, have a voice in my life. I'm talking about getting to the place of enjoying and loving and being your very best vibrant self. Because I believe when we do that, we become our own soulmate. How about that? Because you know what? This body that you have, that's yours from now until the end. The soul that's inside of you, that's yours from now until eternity. So if this is the case, why wouldn't we be our own soulmates? Right? Think about that for a minute. Why wouldn't we be our own soulmates? And if we're our own soulmates, are we not going to be looking out for our best and highest selves? Are we not going to be doing things that are going to nurture that whole relationship? Are we not going to be fully loving ourselves and therefore fully loving others and therefore having this tumbling momentum effect onto everything that goes out into our path? What about that? That makes me want to cry when I think about it, because it brings me to a whole new level of understanding what it is to be here on this earth right now. Why am I here? I mean, that's the age-old question, isn't it? Why am I here? You're here to help other people. How's that going to show up? Well, that's up to you to find out how it's going to show up uniquely. Seek and ye shall find, I believe. Thank you, reticular activating system, already talked about thousands of years ago. Doesn't that just light you up? So if we stop waiting for this magical soulmate to show up, and if only-ing, and deciding and making this decision that what it is, it's about who we are, how we show up, how much we take care of our soul holes, exactly. One of the things that I said a long time ago was, we're talking in the 90s when I first started writing, it was that, when we understand about feeding kids at the table, it's not just about filling holes, it's about filling souls. That there is a component of understanding that when we are at the table, not only are we giving nutrition to our kids, we're also giving nurture to their souls, because that's how we connect. Think about it. In broad strokes, it is, yes, you're going to feed your family and give them, but if you're feeding them crap, it's likely they're in the back seat of a car or they're sitting in front of the TV. When you're feeding them something with vegetables and all the things that they need for their body, and then you're at the table, you're also connecting heart, mind, and soul. You know what I'm saying with all of that? Do you see how that all works full circle? And it does with you as well. When we're doing all of these, when we're aligned with heart, mind, body, and soul, we wouldn't even dream of giving our soulmate this crappy food, this less than food, would we? We wouldn't dream of speaking to our soulmate in such a tone that it's a put down and it's a constant, would we? You know, think about this in the terms of, if you are your own soulmate, boy, are you going to treat yourself a whole lot differently. Because soulmates supposedly only come around once in a lifetime, right? Well, that's true if you're your own soulmate, because this is your vehicle for that soul. And inside, deep inside of you, is that connection of your soul to you, to God, to your empathy, to your beautiful self. You know, this is the beauty of who you are. Have you noticed that as you nurture your soul, that your empathy grows? Have you noticed that the giving that you give is genuine and not just because you're trying to perform in front of an audience and make everyone like you, but it's genuine and true and from love? This is what happens when we become our own soulmates. This is what happens when we connect with that knowingness, that beautiful knowing that's inside of each one of us. You know, it's like we all have this, but the question is, have we all nurtured it? Have we? Do we see ourselves with those eyes or not? You become your dream. You know, you become your dream, and you live your dream when you decide that you are your own soulmate. There is a beauty that connects there. There is a beauty where you start to see yourself in completely different context, completely different eyes, and a completely different connection, because there's a genuine nurture involved, because you want to nurture that relationship. There is a genuine love involved because you love everything about this soulmate of yours, who is you. And there's a definite acceptance that comes along, warts and all. You accept all of it. You know, none of us have gone from the womb to where we are now without having a lot of scrapes and bumps along the way. Some of us have fallen harder than others. Some of us have failed repeatedly. Some of us have felt like it's just no use. But I'm here to tell you that is not true. You know, there is use. You're here for a reason, on purpose, put here by God Himself. And if you can feel that, if you can understand that, if you can meditate on that, you're never going to look at yourself like that, because it's a slap in the face to God Himself. He's got you here for a reason, and your whole reason, your whole purpose is for you to find it. And I promise you that when you light up to that, and when you understand that, and you start to nurture that thing, then that's when things are going to start to fall into place. Seek and ye shall find. You know, that is a directive. That is a directive. Seek and you will find it. Seek and it will show up. Don't just put it down and say, I'm frustrated, I can't, the this, the that. You need an unabashed self-acceptance that is beyond anything, because there is a definite reason that you're here. A definite reason that you have shown up on this planet at this time. And I'm telling you, when you start to see yourself with the eyes of God and how He sees you, a daughter of a king, greatly loved, beloved, you know, that is an elevation in and of itself. And that takes us to the place of understanding. That takes us to the place of a different eyes for our own selves. It takes us to the place of defining our own uniqueness. We get to do that. How fun is that? That's like a game. That's like, here are all the crayons. Here's all the paper. Here are all the crafts. For you crafters out there, it's like endless yarn, endless crochet hooks, endless needle pointy things, or whatever it is that you craft about, you know? We get to be the creators of our lives. We get to have all the scrapbook materials, like Joanne. Joanne, I'm calling you out. We get to have everything, and we get to have the room to do it in, and we get to create this kind of a life. We get to do that when we understand that we are our own soul creators and that we are our own soulmates. There's that in front of us. You know, one of the things that we do is we have to understand that we can go from understanding this to the momentum of creating it. You know, And as we create all of these things for ourselves, have you noticed that we start laying down our weapons of self-destruction, don't we? We do. We lay them down because we start seeing, oh my gosh, if I do just this little thing, that's going to open up all these different possibilities. The creativity comes, and the can you imagine, well, what if, instead of oh, if only, we're what ifing instead of if onlying. Do you see the difference in that? That's the difference in taking us from this place of being defeated to the place of being a victor in our own lives. Yes, it does. This, exactly, immeasurably more than we could ever ask or imagine. It's time to seek. Exactly. That's what Sarah said. It's exactly right. We put down our weapons of self-destruction and we pick up instead creativity, curiosity, imagination, and we start to see the possibilities for our lives, because it is up to us to create them. And when we have this relationship with ourselves that's one of nurture, nutrition, all the ends, right? Nourishment, and we decide that we're going to love ourselves instead of put ourselves down, we're going to take ourselves to this different level of being our own soulmates, the possibilities become endless. The possibilities are all in front of us, and suddenly there is an excitement for our lives. There's now, oh, I get to do this and I get to do that. There's no more imaginary audiences that we're playing to try to get them to love us, because we already love ourselves. We already accept ourselves. We don't need their approval anymore. Moving on, moving on. Next. Enough. It's time to be a maverick in your own life and do this thing. I dare you. It's time to be powerful and principled and opinionated about your own life. That's why I talk about having your own voice. When you have a voice in your life, you are going to use it. When you have a voice in your life, it doesn't mean you have to be a shrew and horrible. It just means you're not going to shut up and put up anymore. What has that done for you? How's that helped you? I don't know about you, but when I finally understood that, it was like somebody just took the shackles off. I was released from my prison of my own perceived smallness. I want you to have all the tools that you need. And one of the biggest tools in your toolbox is to become your own soulmate. And it's to love yourself and to keep yourself in perfect harmony with God Himself, and to understand that doing so is going to get you to the place that you want. I promise you. Oh dear. My phone is letting me know it's time to shut down. So step into your power, Step into your power. That's the secret sauce for becoming your own soulmate, is understanding you are powerful when you decide to step into it. You are powerful when you decide to put down the self-destructive powers. You remember what was it? Mass destruction? Powers of, what was it? The weapons of mass destruction. That's what it was back in the George Bush days, right? Well, we all have those. We all have those, and we all use them on ourselves. Let's put them down and instead pick up curiosity, imagination, understanding of who we are in God's eyes Himself, and to step into this whole power that's ours when we decide to become our own soulmates. I think that's awesome. I don't know about you, but that's where I want to be, because I know that is the step into the creativity that I need in my life in order to accomplish all these things. It's not that hard. It's just it's imagination. It's a stepping into that. It's seeing it with your own mind's eye. That's what I have for you tonight. Peace be with you. Love you guys. Bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.